Welcome. My name is Dan Bocik. I am the chef owner of a tavola restaurant that I opened in 1995. We just celebrated 24 years 2 weeks ago, and I'm amazed. A tavola restaurant is my creation. It brings together all of the restaurants that I've worked at throughout the world. We've had many accolades that I'm grateful for every single day of the last 24 years. We started out by being in the Best New Restaurant issue of Chicago magazine in 1995. One of my biggest accolades came from the Tribune writer Phil Vitale, who has been awesome at identifying us in the very beginning and continually. I've been called the Gnocchi King of Chicago, and we came up with a few years ago Forbes Best Dish in the United States, and it happens to be a dish that we're going to be cooking tonight.
How did your career as a chef begin, Dan?
Great. I always love talking about this. My career as a chef began with me reading an article in Rolling Stone magazine, and it was called The Great Caper Chase. I was in the Navy, I had traveled around the world, I had been to Italy many times, had amazing food experiences there, and I realized I want to go back to Italy some way, somehow. I was reading Rolling Stone magazine, and I realized that's it. I can be a chef for 3 reasons. One, because I love the immediate gratification. It's good, it's over. It's bad, it's over. But I realized that I could rise to the top, I could cook great food that I love and make people happy, and I could work anywhere in the world I chose to. That's why.
Dan, what or who made you want to become a chef?
I would say, like many people, some of my earliest memories were at my grandmother's kitchen table. My grandmother was from the South, and she was the type of lady who never sat down, always wearing an apron, never sat down at the table to eat the meal, always serving us, and I felt loved and cared for at all times. And that's the feeling that I bring to every single diner. That's what I think of when I cook for them. My grandmother. My mother was a very good cook as well.
What is your favorite dish on your current menu?
The dishes that I'm most in love with, and I'm in love with them all, is my gnocchi di patate, which are potato dumplings that Italians eat as a pasta, and also steak. It's a bistecca. So a few years ago, when I was wondering how can I really bring these two together, I realized that many people just love meat and potatoes. They sincerely love that. So what I did was I created my potato dish, which is my gnocchi, and I came up with a bistecca, a double-cut, center-cut, bone-in ribeye, simply grilled with olive oil. And we're going to be making both of those today.
What are your 3 favorite places to eat in Chicago, and why?
Very, very hard question, because there's so many great, talented chefs and restaurants in Chicagoland. I love them. My question when I get asked that, the answer to my question when I get asked that is, at what budget are we talking about? One of my favorite chefs is Michael Liggins. He's a chef owner of George Trois. He's doing some amazing things. I took my wife there for her birthday a few years back, and I have to say, if it was not the best meal I've ever had, I do not remember the best meal I ever had. That's for the splurge budget, worth every penny. My wife and I always have a need, it's seemingly about every 6 weeks, for vegetarian Indian food on Duane. It's a place called Tiffin. We eat there all the time. It's always delicious, and we love that. And for a diner, breakfast place that I've spent many times, it's a place called Looms, or I call Loomies, and it's a diner in Beverly, and I've spent many times there when my child was young until older. Love it.
What are the top 5 most used spices in your cooking?
It's very simple. That the herbs that I use, we use all fresh herbs, winter, and in the summer we grow them on the patio. And it's very simple: parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. So the 5th would be basil, of course, just like the song Scarborough Fair.
What is your favorite dish or top 3 dishes?
Perfect. My three favorite dishes of a tavola are exactly what we're going to be demonstrating, and I'm going to show you the love and care that goes into it. First is gnocchi with brown butter and sage. The second is a bistecca, simply grilled with olive oil and salt. And the fish, I love cooking whitefish, very simply pan-seared with a lemon caper reduction.
What's your top kitchen cooking trick?
I have many tips and tricks when it comes to the kitchen, and I have to always remember the laziest cook that I ever met. I was working at a bad Italian restaurant on Ile Saint Louis in Paris, and a lazy cook I watched him, and he smashed the garlic with his knife and just put it in the bowl. And I use that all the time now. Instead of the garlic pressing, cleaning and stuff like that, I smash the garlic and put it in. But I have many, many, many tricks and tips.
Who is the best chef in Chicago?
Man, that is tough. The best chef in Chicago, there's many. Everybody is good. I've learned the best secrets from the worst chef, and on and on and on. The things that most resonate with me are people who like to do it all, as I do at a tavola. I make focaccia from scratch every day, and we make all desserts in the house. And my own personal sense of pride comes from being able to put that all together for the diners on a nightly basis. I have to say, honestly, anybody who can put it together from their heart, hot, tasty, and on time, they have it for me, because I can tell. I can tell when people are passionate about what they do. I have to say, the people who are cooking with tweezers, it's just not my style. I like tongs and a towel.
Who are the top 3 chefs in the world?
Top 3 chefs in the world. I would say the one guy that I know right now, Michael Lackowitz. If you don't know Michael Lackowitz, get to know him now. He's the founder of, I think he's on his 5th restaurant, all stunning, awesome. George Trois, and I think he's come up with some other restaurant concepts now. As I said, if it wasn't the best meal I ever had in the world, I don't remember the best meal I ever had in the world. It was that good. I think it was all foie gras and just enough. Francis Mullman, when I saw that his lifestyle, I realized that he's about 10 years older than me. I did some of the same things that he did, but we both brought cooking simply with passion. And of course, the godfather of modern French cuisine, Paul Bocuse. So Paul Bocuse and I do some things the same way.
What's the kitchen gadget you couldn't live without?
I would say the number one kitchen gadget that I cannot live without is a food mill. It's a food mill. I use it for making gnocchi, naturally thickened bean soups, and it's great for baby food. Italians, they call it a pasta pomodoro. We mostly use it for a pasta patate. We pass the potatoes with it. So other than that, I'm very simple. Chef's knife, paring knife, peeler. I believe if I have 1 or 2 of those things, I don't need anything else.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten or cooked?
One of the weirdest things I've ever eaten is ricci, sea urchin in Sicily. I've never been exposed to sea urchin, and it's a pretty funky looking thing where they cut it out and scoop it out and eat it. It's kind of like caviar of the sea. It's a delicious. It's a little freaky it was for me at the beginning to see it, but it's delicious.
Do you cook on your days off?
I cook on my days off for exclusively 2 people, my wife and daughter. And we have an agreement that anything they put on the counter, I'll cook. I'm more efficient, and I also like to try and do it in one pot, less to clean.
What is your guilty pleasure dish?
Yes, my guilty pleasure that I like to eat when no one's looking, or even when someone is looking, I don't care because it's awesome, is a combo, which is a Chicago dish of sliced Italian beef with grilled Italian sausage from Johnny's. Johnny's is it hands down, and I like it extra gravy, not dipped, with a combination of sweet and hot peppers. Johnny's Italian beef.
If possible, what advice would you give yourself in the first years of being a chef?
One thing that I would tell my younger self that I know now, and that would be surround yourself with passionate, positive people. That makes all the difference in the world. Somebody doesn't have the most skills at doing anything, but if they're passionate, that's going to come through, and it's going to continually be serving the guests and yourself, and it's going to make it a great work environment. So find passionate, positive people to surround yourself. And what I would do, what I know now that I didn't know then, is I would make it number one point to surround myself with passionate people at all times.
Is there anything you would like to say to our viewers or tell them about?
I found something after being in business 24 years that I've been working on for a couple of years that I am so excited about. And as a matter of fact, I'm so excited about it that I can't wait to get up in the morning and work on it. And I find myself at the end of the day mad that I have to go to bed and I can't continue to work on it. And this is an application that helps restaurant owners to know their costs to the plate and cocktail level. And the reason I'm so passionate about it is because it seems to be a sticking point for many people that just don't know their costs. Passionate people that bring their love and their skill and their heart and their money, and they stumble. And I've come up with a solution for them. I come up with a solution to them so that they can continue to be successful and competitive in this business. So what this menu profit solution application does, it allows them with two simple inputs to know their costs to the plate and the cocktail level of their menus. Take this scenario, for example. A fish comes in on a Friday night and it's double the price that you expected to pay for. Well, if you continued to sell that fish all weekend long, you'd be losing money. Well, with this app, now you're not losing money because you get an alert immediately, and you can then take action right from the app to make an adjustment on your menu and now be profitable. So I'm passionate about helping people that may not survive or will be in pain of the business because they're just not pricing their items accordingly. So this is why I'm doing that.
If you would, go ahead and hit that like button, as it helps us to continue to make content just like the video you just watched. Also, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to stay up to date with our latest videos as we release them. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.